The McClendon Report, Ask or Ask, Donda's Rules, Suit Shoes, all available at McClendonReport.com.
Setting the stage tonight at the Democratic National Convention, Michelle Obama and the Illinois contingent. We're taking your calls on the Democratic National Convention. Was Senator Biden the right choice? Will Michelle make a great first lady? Will Chicago politics corrupt Washington, D.C.? CLTV political reporter Carlos Hernandez Gomez and me face off tonight on Garrard McClendon Live. Welcome to Garrard McClendon Live. Hey, Denver is the place to be for Democrats, but it's Illinois night. Joining us from Studio C is CLTV political reporter Carlos Hernandez Gomez. Carlos, how are you today?
Pretty good, Gerard. How are you?
Oh, man, you know, it's a big day for Democrats. Carlos, you're the CLTV political reporter, so obviously you're going to have a lot of insight on this. Let's open up by talking about is Biden the right choice? I mean, Barack Obama could have picked a number of other people. I'll talk about who I'm glad he didn't pick, but is Biden the right choice, Carlos?
Well, there's a lot of pros and there's some cons. Of course, with the recent conflict between Russia and the former Soviet satellite state of Georgia, foreign policy again became a big issue, and that's really a void in Barack Obama's resume. The Republicans and their standard bearer, John McCain, have been whacking him hard on that, and now you have someone like Joe Biden, chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, someone who has incredible experience in the Senate in that regard and can really go toe-to-toe with McCain on that issue. However, some might say that Biden being in the Senate nearly 4 decades perhaps could undercut Obama's message of change, of being the sort of self-styled outsider from Washington. So.
Yeah, you know, Carlos, I'm glad that he did not pick Evan Bayh. And I don't want to talk about my personal reasons why, because Evan Bayh and I had a few run-ins years ago. Nevertheless, I really think, and, tell me if I'm wrong, Carlos, I think that if he would have chosen Evan Bayh, the rest of the country outside of Indiana would have said, Evan who?
Well, Bayh does have somewhat of a profile. However, there's another reason Obama perhaps did not pick Bayh, because if Evan Bayh were to be the number 2 and say they win, who fills Evan Bayh's vacancy? That would be Governor Mitch Daniels, the Republican governor of Indiana, who would likely appoint a Republican, and that means Obama, as president, would lose another seat in the Senate, something he certainly would not want to do.
Oh, man. Now, Carlos, look, man, you were so smooth when you did that, because the question is still out there. If Barack Obama gets elected, Illinois is minus 1 U.S. senator, or Illinois is minus a senator. And so who fills that spot? Who is looking at being a part of the roster of the U.S. Senate?
Well, that's certainly for Governor Rod Blagojevich to pick that person. And the interesting thing is a lot of folks have been sort of smooching up to the governor trying to get that spot. You saw Jan Schakowsky a few months ago put herself out there, and even being asked about the corruption scandal surrounding the governor, I would just say, well, it's unfortunate these side issues have clouded all the good things he's done. So there's certainly a lot of folks jockeying for it. One of the choices that keeps coming up is Tammy Duckworth. She's an Iraq War veteran who is the director of Veterans Affairs for the state, lost a tight race for Congress back in '06. Some are looking at her as the possible person for that. Some joke that Blagojevich might appoint himself, perhaps to escape Pat Fitzgerald. Who knows? Yeah,
it's interesting because we're looking at having Major Tammy Duckworth on later in the show. When it comes to the governor having to choose a U.S. senator, that's kind of scary because, think of the backdoor smoke-filled room deals that are going to take place from now, Carlos, until Thursday of this week. I mean, I would just love to be a fly on the wall, wouldn't you, Carlos?
Well, we certainly heard about some of those alleged backdoor deals with the governor during the Tony Rezko trial. And so, I mean, I certainly wouldn't want to speculate on what that may be. However, the governor has a lot on his mind. I mean, right now we have a governor who is in the middle of a civil war within the Illinois Democratic Party. He certainly has that problem. He's got federal investigations, subpoenas flying. I mean, he has the feds crawling in and out of every pore. So he is, some might say, distracted. So, I mean, might not be in the best frame of mind to make such a decision.
Governor Blagojevich has a beautiful head of hair, but I would hate to be the man right now. I mean, when you got the Tony Rezko thing going, when you've got possible scandals in the mix, I mean, there are times, Carlos, when I've seen Rod Blagojevich asked very simple questions And he simply does not answer those questions. I have a serious problem with that. And, you know, I think that is definitely a downfall to many of his constituents as well. It's like, is this person being governor or is this person playing peekaboo, hide and go seek?
For a while, he was doing that, and he would only come out for particular programs aimed at particular constituencies, whether it's African Americans or the elderly or other folks, trying to sort of give little bones to different groups of people to kind of keep support, because, of course, nowadays, lately, he's gone back on the attack. He's doing more public appearances. He's being more combative with the press, kind of like the way he used to be when he first got into office. But that's his style. The governor's government style is the permanent campaign. It's always being in campaign mode, always trying to find a villain, making a foil for every state problem, whether it's Mike Madigan, whether it's the State Board of Education. He had a different boogeyman every year.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that I can't stand is when politicians look for the first African-American pulpit to speak from on a Sunday afternoon. That just blows me away. You know, you talk about separation of church and state. Let's move to Hillary, though, Carlos. Carlos, you know, there are rumors, there are murmurings that the Hillary supporters will be, you know, somewhat of distractors at the convention. Do you think that's going to come up?
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, that's the real question. What do they do? And I think part of that tone is going to have to be set by Hillary Clinton and former President Bill Clinton. They're going to be looking to them to see how they deal with this and how they accept it. And I think if you see Hillary Clinton giving a very gracious speech, you know, showing deference to Senator Obama, pledging to get behind him, I think her supporters will follow in tow. The question is, at the end of the day, before they walk in there and pull that lever, they're going to have to decide. Do they want John McCain or do they want Barack Obama? And whatever. And and certainly there is talk that there are Hillary folks who are going to John McCain, or some that might be so disgruntled they may not even go out to vote. So either way, that hurts Barack Obama.
Yeah, you know, I want to ask you after the break also, Carlos, about unifying the party and if the Clintons are looking for certain positions in the event that Barack Obama gets in office. You know, and still to come on tonight's show, more Carlos Hernandez Gomez and Major Tammy Duckworth. Call me, 630-575-TALK, Garrard McClendon Live. Hey, we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. CLTV reporter Carlos Hernandez Gomez joins me tonight as we discuss the Illinois influence on national politics. Joining us by phone is Army National Guard Major Tammy Duckworth. Major Duckworth, welcome to Garrard McClendon Live.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, we thank you. First of all, we thank you for your service to this country. We appreciate you, and we thank you for joining us on the show. Let me just ask you a few soft questions first. Hey, is Senator Biden, is he the right choice, Major?
Actually, you know what? Because I'm doing the National Guard, I'm just doing this as a private citizen and not as with my military rank. But I absolutely think that Senator Biden is the absolute right choice. We have a fantastic ticket with Senator Obama, who's going to really make a big difference for veterans. And, of course, Senator Biden, with his years and literally decades foreign policy experience, will really help to round out the ticket. And I'm so excited for our nation's future that we have the opportunity to elect President Obama.
Okay, Major Duckworth, let's get right into this. You know, does Senator Barack Obama really have a good chance of becoming President of the United States? Come on.
Senator Obama absolutely has the best chance of becoming president of the United States. And what's more, he's the very best candidate out there. And, you know, I've been working here now talking to veterans groups, and the veterans all agree that he will make the best commander-in-chief. He's going to be someone who's going to listen to his advisors, but then be bold enough to make his own decisions. He's not going to be flippant. He's not going to just offhandedly commit us to 100 more years of war in Iraq. He's going to be the kind of leader, the kind of commander-in-chief every soldier wants. And I'm so proud to be supporting him.
Major Duckworth, I'm going to switch to Carlos Hernandez Gomez. Carlos, I'm going to let you ask the magic question, my friend, to Major Duckworth. I mean, you want to ask her about some future political aspirations?
So, Tammy, what do you think about your chances for the Senate vacancy should Barack Obama be elected president? What do you think Governor Blagojevich will do, and have you talked to him about that?
You know, I just think all that is pure speculation. I am right now working on what I think is the most important issue at hand, and that is to get Barack Obama elected president so that we can have a new direction for this country and that we can bring some of those things that we've done in Illinois to the national level, whether it's all of our programs for veterans, healthcare, education, and that's what I'm working on right now. So I'm not even thinking or talking about anything else.
Okay,
but certainly you've heard the speculation, haven't you?
Listen, it's just now August. We have a long way to go until November. We have a lot of work to do to get Barack Obama elected, and that's what I'm focused on. And also on my job, taking care of Illinois veterans.
Okay. I mean, I put the pit bull Carlos on you, and I'm glad that you answered that question. I got to ask you this, though. Do you have any bitterness, Major, toward the United States' decision to go to Iraq?
One of the things that we all need to remember is that anywhere American soldiers, service members serve, they serve with honor. And I am very proud of my service in Iraq, even though I never agreed personally that it was the right thing to do. I wanted to go to Afghanistan and crush the enemies who attacked us and destroy al-Qaeda. And I feel, personally that we have been distracted by that. But I'm proud of my military service. I'm proud of my brothers and sisters who have been sacrificing, who have lost their lives in defense of this great nation. And that has nothing to do with the fact that our political leaders for the past 8 years have simply not lived up to the sacrifices of our troops. So the two are separate. Wherever our troops serve, they serve with honor and they serve with pride, and we should all be proud of them. Remember, you don't have to agree with the war to love the warrior, and that's where Barack Obama comes in, because he's been taking care of us. He was there standing next to my hospital bed when I was first injured in 2004, and even though he didn't believe in the war, he still believed in the warriors.
Major, you sacrificed both legs, you sustained arm damage. What do you tell someone that's about to go to the armed forces tomorrow?
I tell anyone who wants to go and join the military, and also their family members, that they can be proud of the bravery of our men and women in uniform, that they serve with honor, that there is no greater thing that they can do than defend this democracy, and that we now at this point have an opportunity to make sure that our political leaders live up to the sacrifices of our service members. And, I'm still serving in the military, and I would gladly serve overseas again if my nation needed me to.
What's the atmosphere out there? On a lighter note, Tammy, what's it like being in Denver?
It's been wonderful. There's so much hope in the air. All the Democrats are coming together, and we are looking forward to working as hard as we can to get Senator Obama elected so that we can lead this country on a new path, so that we can have change and just really, change what has been happening for the past 8 years, whether it's with our economy, with education, with the military, with diplomacy. And that's what's going on here in Denver. It's just great excitement for the hope of America.
Major Tammy Duckworth, thank you for being on Garrard McClendon Live from the Democratic National Convention. We appreciate your service and your sacrifice to this country.
Thank you, Garrard.
Call me at 630-575-TALK. Still to come on tonight's show, Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn joins the discussion with Carlos Hernandez Gomez. Stay right there. More Garrard McClendon Live in a moment. Welcome back to Garrard McClendon Live. Was Biden the right pick for Obama? Who will replace Barack as senator if he becomes president? CLTV reporter Carlos Hernandez Gomez joins me from Studio C, and we have a special guest from Denver, Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn. Lieutenant Governor, how are you today?
Well, I'm doing very well. We've had a very good day so far, and looking forward to this evening and Michelle Obama's speech.
Yes.
That'd definitely be the highlight tonight.
Lieutenant Governor, let me ask you this. First of all, when did you get into town?
Well, I got into town yesterday about noontime, and was happy to see the White Sox and Cubs both won, and they had a number of receptions here in Denver, but we got down to work here this morning, Monday morning, and I'm happy to say that the Illinois delegation is united, and we're ready to block and tackle for Barack Obama.
Pat, what's the excitement like there in Denver? What's the overall atmosphere of what you're feeling thus far?
Well, it's a very hospitable place. The people of Denver are very friendly, and there's just so much enthusiasm for Barack Obama. If you walk on the sidewalk down the street, if I have a button on for Barack Obama, people ask for a button or anything that signifies something with his campaign. So there's a lot of enthusiasm, and this is by far the most diverse political convention in the history of America. It's really gratifying to see grassroots democracy in full flower right here.
But Pat, is he electable? Here's this hot shot lawyer, Harvard trained. He goes right up through the ranks in Illinois. Some people think that he kind of cut to the front of the line. Is Barack Obama electable?
Well, number one, Barack Obama's paid his dues. I think he's really a living embodiment of the American dream of working hard and studying hard and doing well and helping people along the way, every step of the way. There's no question that the other side is going to try and engage in character assassination and negative campaigning.
Yes.
But I think the economy is the key issue in this election. There was a saying a long time ago from Harry Truman that the most sensitive nerve in the body is the pocketbook nerve. And I think Barack Obama really has the best agenda to help the economic concerns of the people of our state and the people of America.
Yeah, let's move forward. Carlos.
Well, Pat, Barack Obama certainly talks about change and unity, and that's sort of been a success for him nationwide. However, the Illinois Democratic Party is somewhat fractured right now with this civil war battle royale between Governor Blagojevich and Mike Madigan. What do you make of the governor being snubbed?
Well, I don't know if it's snubbed. I think the governor's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to have a reception to honor Tammy Duckworth, the director of Veterans Affairs, who's a very good friend of mine, and Tammy is going to be speaking at the convention. I know Governor Blagojevich is arriving for that. I think we have to put aside any of the political and personal differences that exist in Illinois to do something that's really for our country. Electing a president is making history, and our country really needs a fundamental change, especially when it comes to the economy, and Barack Obama is our man to get the job done.
But, Pat, is it not unusual that the sitting governor from the nominee state is given no prominent role, no speaking engagement, nothing? I mean, is that the function of the battle in Springfield, or is it the res cotae? What do you think it is?
Well, I think the governor historically has really not done a whole lot at conventions. He wasn't really all that active personally at the last convention, and I'm just like Governor Blagojevich. We're going to sit in the delegation and raise our signs and yell as loud as we can for Barack Obama. You know, you don't always have to be dancing in the end zone. I think it's important to have people in politics who do the hard work, who block and tackle for our candidate for president, and we don't need to have more than, all this celebrity. I think it's important to focus on what the citizens want, not what the politicians want.
But is it unusual that you've got the three potential top contenders against him in 2010, not including you, of course, Alexei Giannoulias, Lisa Madigan, and Dan Hines, all given prominent speaking roles, and not Blagojevich?
Well, each of those people had an interaction with Barack Obama along the way, and I think part of the deal this evening is to kind of spell out Barack's life history. His wife, more than anyone, I think, will do a great job at that, and we'll get the job done, I think, very well on day one of the convention. But I don't think there's any division whatsoever on the part of anybody that in this convention we know we've got to win on November 4th.
Yeah.
Our country, its economy really depends on a fundamental change, and having Barack Obama as the winning presidential candidate
yes, sir.
is imperative for working families.
Yes, sir. Hey, we thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn. Thanks for your correspondence in Denver. We appreciate you. Hey, call me, blog me, 630-575-TALK is the number, cltv.com/GML. Zeb Hall is coming up next, Washington intern. He joins us by phone for his update on the convention. Garrard McClendon Live will be back in a moment. Joining us now is Zeb Hall. He's an intern with the Washington Center for Academic Seminars. He's also a student at Calumet College, an organization that gives students the opportunity to experience the mechanics of the political system. Welcome to Garrard McClendon. Zeb Hall, how are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Excellent, excellent. Hey, we appreciate you coming on. First of all, talk to us about the excitement in Denver. What's going on?
Oh, it's going crazy. There's people everywhere, all sorts of races. Everybody's just coming together to really support Obama down here. It's crazy.
Yes, talk to me about security. What was some of your experiences that you dealt with in terms of coming into Denver and dealing with security within the hall itself?
Security's outrageous. They're in packs of 12 to 15. They're in riot unit gear, and they even got horses dressed up in riot unit gear. And their Secret Service agencies around every person that's high profile. Nancy Pelosi had about 15 Secret Service agents around here. There's FBI agents, so it's really crazy down here.
What are you learning, Zeb? And make it quick. What are you learning at the Democratic National Convention?
The thing I can say I learned the most was to put your life into perspective and really understand what's important to you and the things that you don't like about the laws and things that's going on in the world, to try to be successful and help change those things.
So you think the democratic process, do you think that popular vote and electoral votes, that's the way to go and every citizen should be involved?
I agree with that totally, because there's so many citizens in the United States with different backgrounds, and we're so diverse that you can't rely on one race to make all the decisions and the choices.
Zeb Hall, thank you so much for joining us. We got a wonderful picture of you up there with my good friend, the guy who yelled a few years ago, Howard Dean. How was your experience with him? Quickly.
The experience with Howard Dean, he really motivated us. When he talked to me, he really motivated me to be a strong African American and to stand up for everything I really believed in.
Zeb, thank you so much. Carlos Hernandez Gomez, CLTV political reporter. Final thoughts on the day.
Well, certainly today, looking at the day of the convention, it showed the divisiveness of the irony, really, the Obama and this theme of change and unity, but the divisiveness in his own state Democratic Party, with Rod Blagojevich, the governor, being snubbed, and some of his top opponents, perhaps in 2010, given prominent roles. Of course, one can't be surprised. They both share the embarrassment of having gotten fundraising help from Tony Rezko, so it's probably a smart move for Barack Obama politically not to have Tony Rezko there. John McCain's already starting to hammer on that, like Hillary Clinton did. Wow. So it'll be quite a week, Gerard.
Carlos, thanks. Thanks to my guest tonight, CLTV political reporter Carlos Hernandez Gomez, Major Tammy Duckworth, Lieutenant Governor Pat Quinn, and Washington intern Zeb Hall from Calumet College. Hit my blog, cltv.com/GML. That's Garrard McClendon live for tonight. Keep your head up and be encouraged. Good night.
The McClendon Report. Ask or Ask, Donda's Rules, Suit Shoes. All available at McClendonReport.com.